welcome. This is going to be another Finding Inspiration Friday. I'm going to be coloring in this book called Myth Worlds, and it is by Good Wives and Warriors. It falls in line with some of their other children's illustrated books, Myth Match and Mythopedia. The artwork is amazing, but it can also be pretty intense and intimidating. So I've had this page marked for a while now, and I've been wanting to color it in winter time. So I think this is the second year that I've been looking at it, and I'm tired of just trying to figure out what to do with it. So I'm just going to stop being afraid and just go for it today. The description reads, I believe the name is Fenrir. This immense Norse beast has sharp teeth and claws, the body of a powerful wolf, and long white fur. He was born from the trickster god Loki and is prophesied to one day devour the sun. I was kind of stumped because it says long white fur, but the fur on here reminds me more of scales than fur. And being such a black, dark line art and lots of texture, I was wondering how I would create this, white fur. I knew I want to do the cave in more like icy blue shades. But again, I was kind of stuck on this. So I went hunting on the Good Wives and Warriors Instagram page for some examples. And what I love about their artwork is that everything is just so colorful, with unexpected color combinations and just bright and bold. Okay, so I did find this picture here. And as you can see, it is a white wolf. But the colors on here are more warm shades, and I visualized more cool shades. So my finding inspiration for you guys is going to be from a photo editing app and using the adjustment filter. Okay, so here I've just saved the picture and went to my photo editing app. I'm going to go to Tools and then Adjustments. And then I'm going to come over to Hue. All right, and this is going to change the colors. It's going to adjust the colors to different hues. All right, so if I slide it this way, I'm going to get more yellow, green, and then into the green and blues. If I slide it this way, it's going to be more warm tones, purple pinks to blue, and then back to the blue-green. So this is kind of more of the feel that I was going for. So just think that this is a good tool to have in your collection because color can really change the way the picture feels. All right, so that's going to be more of my color palette. I'll probably do some pops of reds and oranges, maybe in this comet here and maybe in the eyes. But for the most part, I want it to be in cool shades. Okay, so the paper in this book is off-white, and it's a little bit heavier than I would say regular paper, but I wouldn't say it's a heavy cardstock by any means. I don't know the weight of paper, but I would say it's just more of a lighter cardstock. So I'm going to be using different products with water, so I'm expecting to have some bleed through on this other side, but it's really just going to affect the name and description of that one. But I think the paper itself will be able to stand up to a little bit of water. Okay, so let's get started. All right, I'm going to be starting with the cave here, and again, I am going to be using cool shades, so I am going to be trying some water on these. So these are just water-based markers. I have several different collections. I have some from Artist Loft. I just got these new ones from Ohuhu. They're called art markers, and they're like more pastels. So I have a few of those. I have, I even have a Crayola Super Tip too. So just different water-based markers, and I'm going to concentrate the lighter shades on this outside ring, or sorry, the inner part of the ring here, closest to the light. And then as I get down to the edges, those are going to have more of the darker shades. So Here's kind of a look at the colors I'll be using. And I'll do some kind of normal speed, and then once I get going and I kind of show what I'm doing, then I'll do some faster speed and then also do some off camera and then come back on. So I'll also be using a water brush. This one is Ohuhu, and it just came in that marker set that I have, so I'll be testing that out. And then I do have a paper towel close by too. I want kind of a watercolor effect, so I'm just going to be kind of messy with this, and we'll see how things will come together. So this one's like a really light purple. I want the tips to almost be white. All right, so before I get too involved, I'm just gonna see how this plays out and see how the water moves on this page. Okay, so far so good. So I'm just using all those shades that I have and alternating the colors. Again, just trying to concentrate the darker up towards the top edge and then lighter at the bottom, and then using the water brush to spread that color around. All right, so I'm definitely not happy with the way this technique is working. It's not moving the color around like I wanted it to. I'm having to work harder and use more water, which is pilling the paper, so not good. So I'm going to try this other technique. This is basically almost using the markers as a watercolor palette. So you just take the marker, rub it on the little ceramic plate, and then take the water brush and then paint it onto the paper. So this goes on a lot easier, a lot less kind of rubbing, if you will. And then I can add a little bit darker areas, but still keep the top areas lighter. So this allows a little bit more room for play. All right, so I'll go ahead along with this method and then finish off camera and then come back when I'm done. Okay, so here's the finished cave part, and I really like all the variations of colors, the light and dark. I think it looks really good. All right, so for his nose, I felt like he needed some nostrils, so I drew in with pencil some nostrils, and then I'm just using this black fine liner and filling that space in. I'm also going to use the fine liner for the inside of this eye part right here. I'll do that for both eyes, and then also the little part on the inner part of the ear. All right, for the wolf, I'll be using these Caran d'Ache Neo Color 2s. These are water-soluble crayons, and I'm going to be using this light blue, a green, and kind of a medium blue. And then I have this cutting board, which is just a dollar store cutting board. And it kind of has a rough texture to it, which I've seen people use this, although it was like the Caran d'Ache board, but this one works good too. And of course the water brush. All right, so I'm just gonna rub the crayon on the cutting board and then use the water brush to pick up the pigment. And then apply to the page. So I want the wolf to look still white, but obviously I can't keep them all white. So I'm gonna use these colors kind of for shadow and for accents. So looking up wolf pictures, it looks like around there, like the top of the nose and then right underneath the nose is a little bit darker, and then kind of their cheek area is white and fluffy. And then I'll do some shadings down around the bottom part of the wolf and kind of around the edges. So I'm also going to add some purple in here too, and that will just add additional color and some shadow colors inside here. All right, next I'll be working on the Comet and His Eyes. And this is where I'm going to introduce that pop of yellows, oranges, and kind of magenta colors. So for the eyes, I'm going to start with the yellow. And he's got little eyes, so thankfully I don't have to do too much detail in here. But basically I'm just going to fill in first with yellow. And then take an orange and just kind of do the upper and then the corners. And then I'll blend again with yellow. Okay, this is the pink, and I'm just going right on that top edge and just a little bit along the black part of the bottom area. And again, blend with yellow. All right, I should have looked at pictures of comets on the internet before I started, but that's okay. So I'm basically going to, I want the lightest part or the most yellow part of it to be the trail of the comet, and the darkest part is going to be up front. So I started with kind of a pink shade and then added yellow on top. And I'm just going back and forth between yellows, orange, a pink, and then kind of a very dark magenta color. Again, keeping the yellow trail the lightest and brightest, and then the darkest should be up front. So when I should have looked at the pictures, the front part should have had a nice yellow like glow to it too. But for some reason in my head, I was thinking it would be really dark. So anyway, I just go back and forth, burnishing those colors, making it nice, bright, and bold. Well, she is definitely bright and bold, but I think it looks really good and stands out against the blue. Okay, staying with the sky, I'm going to bring up this picture again, and if you see in the background in the dark sky, there's kind of this milky color in the background. I really love that effect, so I'm actually going to play around with the Tim Holtz Distress Crayons. I've never used these before, so this will be interesting. I'm going to do this blue, which actually is it's in the pearlescent pack, and then I'm going to do just a regular blue and then maybe this olive green color. So the pearlescent, I don't know how that will change things, change the look, if it will mix okay or not. So I'm just going to add a little bit of kind of scribble color around. I'm not going to worry too much about the stars. I'll try to go around some of them, but if I go over on top, that's okay too, because I can always come back with my white Posca and re-add those white stars. So again, just kind of scribbling here and there. I don't want to fill up the whole black sky. I do want some of it to remain black, but I'll just alternate between those three colors. Okay, so these are water soluble too, so I'm just taking that water brush again and just kind of blending that around. So I'm actually really liking the blue pearl in here. I think it gives it that nice kind of shiny effect, but it's not like that noticeable where it takes away from the other two colors. So I think it adds that nice, bright, kind of reflective look. All right, I'll let that dry and then I'll add the Posca later. All right, next I'm gonna work on this chain that kind of goes in between the little cave creases here. And I'm gonna use a water-based brush marker. This is the brand Parku. And this is just a really light yellow. It's actually brighter than what I thought it was gonna be, but that's okay. So I'm just gonna hit all of these little chain pieces. All right, I'll bring the cutting board back out and I'm gonna use this, another one of those pearlescent. I thought the sparkle would be pretty for the gold chain. So again, just scratching it onto the cutting board and then using the water brush and picking up that pigment and then painting it on. All right, getting out the pencils now. This is a Prisma color, and I thought it was gold, but it's actually bronze. And I'm just gonna go around the inside edge of the chain and then right on the two ends that are kind of near the other link. All right, it's just a faint sparkle. I'm not sure if the camera is picking it up, but there is just a slight little shimmer. All right, next I'm gonna take some more color pencils. This is kind of a medium blue, and then I also have a gray, and I'm just gonna do some shading. I feel like the wolf and the cave are too similar, so I just need a little bit more contrast to make it stand out a little bit. All right, now I'm gonna use the Posca and brighten up those stars that I covered up. All right, a little bit more Posca around the face, maybe adding some additional hair texture in the ears and like for whiskers, highlights on the chain, and anywhere else I feel like it might need a little highlight. Okay, I don't know if I care for the white lines I just did, so I'm gonna camouflage that a little bit. Just take a color pencil and go over it. It's still there, but it's not as bright. I'll leave that one little bright spot at the very top though. All right, here is the completed page. So most of this was completed just experimenting and playing with new products. And to be honest, I went into this page not really thinking it would look very good. And then after finishing the wolf, I just thought it blended too much into the cave. There wasn't enough contrast. But then after a little bit of shading, and then I love the pop of color, that warm, hot comet in the sky, and then the chain kind of draws your eye down below. I really think it turned out far better than I expected. So next time you have a picture you're using for inspiration for your coloring pages, try out the adjustments filter in a photo editing app and see if you can change the hues to something that might fit your mood better. Thanks for watching, everyone, and happy coloring!